Hi, you're on the Bible Forum. This week, a group of evangelical leaders, preachers, and others published a statement in which they confirmed the traditional view of marriage as a union between a man and a woman. The report was written by the Council on Biblical Manhood and Womanhood, and it was in response to what they called, quote, today's post-Christian world. In what's being called the Nashville Statement, this coalition outlines their 14 core beliefs about marriage, gender identity, and culture. They begin with the following statement, a statement that leaves no room for misinterpretation, which is part of the problem. It read, quote, we affirm that God has designed marriage to be a covenantal, sexual, procreative, lifelong union of one man and one woman as husband and wife, and is meant to signify the covenant love between Christ and his bride, the church. There is enough ammunition in that one sentence to last some of these people the rest of their lives. That God exists, there's a God, and he designed this thing, and it's a covenantal relationship, not a legal relationship, that it is sexual, that it is procreative. Whoa, babies come, but we can kill them. We don't have to. No, it's designed. It's the only way the species continues, and that it is a lifelong union. You can't just throw the switch and walk away. That's not what it was designed to be. In a covenant of love, each other and the Lord Jesus Christ and his bride, the church. There's a picture here. They went on to say, we deny that God has designed marriage to be homosexual. You're in trouble. He's not designed to be polygamous or polyamorous. You married, you got 3 girlfriends, or maybe a boyfriend in there someplace. It's not like that. They say we also deny that marriage is a mere human contract rather than a covenant made before God. Well, the digital world lit up. Facebook, Twitter, you name it, it went nuts. Some hot takes on Twitter were that the leaders were, quote, perpetuating division and hate, end of quote. Now, there you go. Perpetuating division and hate. They're saying this is a covenant contract to stay together until death, but that's divisive. What's divisive? You are dividing people. The people who believe what you believe, but the majority of those people that don't believe that. They went on to say that these men were small-minded and that they were hateful or that they were bigoted. And they said evangelicals are some of the cruelest people in the universe. Not ISIS, not people who go out and cut your throat, who throw homosexuals out the 5-story building or off a mountain somewhere. Not people who men who go off and kill their wives because they let a man see their face. Evangelical Christians are the cruelest people in the universe. Are you surprised? Well, we're not ever surprised anymore by the social media's reaction. These idiots will attack anything that moves or breathes and expresses anything that they even think is contrary to their own philosophy of life. A philosophy, by the way, that is skewed completely. A philosophy of life that would have been called pagan just a few generations ago. But this is the crowd that knows. You don't know. And that's their base assumption. Whether it's what you say or what you do or what you don't, they're ready and able to stab you in the heart verbally because they know and you're stupid. It amazes me that anyone in the public eye would pay any attention to these people at all. Somebody signs up for my Twitter account and they're reacting this way, I just take them off. I don't need this. And I don't go and look at Facebook or any of these kind of things trying to figure out what people think of me. But these people have tremendous power to shape the cultural narrative only because we allow it. Just this past week, we saw it working with Joel Osteen. Did you read any of that? Joel Osteen, who pastors 40,000 people in Houston, Texas. No, he doesn't. He stands up and he talks love and niceness to them. They love it. But if you were paying any attention, the Twitter feed, these people went crazy because here's this multi-million-dollar operation with an auditorium that will seat 30,000 people or whatever it is, and they're not opening their doors to help these people who don't have a house to live in. Well, as soon as that hit, he came right back and his people to say, whoa, 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 time out. Our building's flooded. We don't have anything to share that way. But where we do, we are. They went out and bought blow-up mattresses, showed pictures of them lying in the hallways. They were preparing in the day or two before all of this blew up, trying to figure out which way this was going, what would be the best use of their time, energy, and resources. And while they were doing it, they were gearing up. Twitter. If you're in business, these people can seriously impact your cash flow if you let some of these things just lie, if you don't answer them. Look at some of the big name companies that have backed off, cowed up. You're right, we won't do that anymore. They'll go broke. Multi-million-dollar operations. Why? Well, we just had in our town 2 big stores that went out of business. One was Sears, and the other was Kmart. Now, Kmart and Sears are apparently owned by the same company, and the news was that their profit margin was something in the neighborhood of 8 to 10%. Out of everything they sold or did, they got in profit about 8 or 10%. That is a razor thin profit margin. And these stores were not profitable enough. Big business isn't as lucrative and as freewheeling as you might think. Many of these companies, big companies, are on the edge. We had another big store, H.H. Gregg. They went out of business just in the last few months. There's a big sporting goods thing, something mountain, I forget what it's called. Huge building, monstrous, great. They're out of business. You have to be careful. And the Twitter feeds, the social media can kill your business quick. What's going on? Well, it's called the tyranny of the minority, or the tyranny of the uninformed and uneducated that have been released through the social media and through the internet. Unknown and unknowing persons from around the world have the power to shape opinion, and they don't have anything else to do. I'll show you some of the things I get over on the YouTube channel, and it's amazing. A lot of these guys, they say they're Muslim, and they're not born American. They're not here. They don't know the language. And their language is really strange. They're trying to translate into English and don't always work very well. But then there's some others that come along and they were born and raised right here, and I still can't make head or tail what they're saying. They want to debate me. They want to tell me that they're threatening me. They go all through how you can't say these things. I can say anything I want. What's at stake with open marriages? Why is it so important that we have that and protect that? Well, what's at stake is the future of this world, starting with the West. Imagine a world much like the Barbary Coast. Lawless, greed, avarice, debauchery, godlessness. And that's what these people are advocating for. That's what we have in some of our so-called Christian homes, with what they watch on television and the language they use and the adult beverages that they don't have a problem with, and on it goes. A sliding scale of morality where some things are right, other things are wrong, and I get to decide, not you. And you get to decide for me. And we can't ever point and say, you're wrong, because who knows? A world where people owe more money than they are worth. Can you say credit card debt? I looked it up. The average American has a credit card, an unsecured debt of $5,500. You say, well, that doesn't sound so bad. That's average. That means there are people out there with 3 $10,000 credit cards maxed out. And it doesn't factor in the retail credit cards. It doesn't factor in the car loans. I'm working with a car dealer in town. I'm looking at cars in the showroom at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's obscene. And people are buying them every day. They just ran a whole monthly, this month was a big push. And man, people were in and out of it like crazy. And mortgages. It doesn't account for the mortgages. Some estimates place individual unsecured debt at well over $10,000 per person. What's going to happen if suddenly everything comes to a halt? You lose your job, a flood. What are you going to do? A world where people say whatever they feel, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, vulgar, profane, whether it insults people, whether it's libelous, whether it's anything. And they maintain they have the right to say that out loud, on the street, in front of God and everybody. It's their moral right. And they're not doing anything wrong. A world where people marry or not, where people marry those of their own gender, their own family, they live in a communal lifestyle, and then they leave at whenever they feel like it, or they divorce whenever they feel like it. They don't want to be married anymore. They just don't want to be married to you. Our legal code has now evolved to where it allows for all of this and more. And you want to tell me we're not living in an immoral society? A world where legal is whatever a lawyer can make it be? Judges who care more about being fair than being just? Laws which are just loose enough to lend credibility to almost any decision a judge wants to make? That's the kind of America, the kind of country that was founded, called America, designed to avoid all of that. And then there's the music, the arts, the internet. You can go on forever. How far do we have to go before we realize we're living in a debauched society where the inmates are running the asylum? And that's even in our churches. We're even changing the rule book, the Bible, just about every year, in order to obfuscate divine standards and confuse eternal values in the minds of those who are coming up behind. You would think that the world had ended. Well, it has. At least the world we knew. The world that made America great. The Judeo-Christian ethic, the Protestant work ethic. In short, Christian America is gone. And it only took 50 years and 3 generations once the ball got rolling. From 1940 to 1990. And then it was over.